All right, Mayhem's got news. I have some things I wanted to get into myself.
All right.
It's tough, Mayhem.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you may have experienced this yourself, but my wiring is like, you're fine, get up, get going, rub some dirt on it, whatever. Yeah. And that's how I grew up. I grew up playing football. It was always like, get up, go, you're fine.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'd have situations like the first time I got wrist surgery, I was driving a BMW M3 at the time, and it was a 5-speed. And I had this big cast on my right hand, And people were like, well, you're going to have a ride service or get an automatic or something like that. And I said, I can handle it.
Man up and grip with your pinky.
And I drove the whole time I had this cast on my arm. It was fine. I steered with my left. I kind of shoved it in. Fine. And then one other time, I got arthroscopic surgery, and they were like, oh, I had it lined up for about 3 or 4 days before this car race I was doing, and they're like, you're not going to be able to do the car race, And I was like, I'll do it, because I got arthroscopic surgery on my right knee a million years ago, and I got into the biggest street fight of my life, and I still had stitches in my knee. As a matter of fact, the whole reason I got in the fight, because I said to the guy, my knee's fucked, I just had surgery on my knee, and he went, I'm going to break your other knee, bro. And I went, oh, now we're getting it on.
Man, you're hanging out at the bars I used to hang out.
This is at someone's house, but yeah.
Even better.
Right, so I said, now we're going to do it. So I did a lot of shit with a fucked up knee and a fucked up hand and surgery, and I was always that way. And I remember when I was doing Kevin and Bean, and me and Jimmy were on, their producer was Frank Murphy. Nice enough guy, little quirky. He lived about 3 miles from the studio, and he had to get surgery on his arm, like a wrist thing, like what I had, or his arm was in a cast or something like that. And I remember he would explain to it. Now, this is morning radio, and you had to be there at 4:45, maybe 5 a.m. every day if you were the producer of the show, because the show started right at 6 a.m.
This is Kevin and Bean you're talking about.
Kevin and Bean.
All right.
And if you showed up at 5:45, you were late, man. I mean, you needed to be there prepping.
Yeah.
So Frank got up at probably 4:15 every morning, and he made his poor wife drive him into work every day. And me and Jimmy were like, you drive an automatic. Just put the fucking thing in drive and drive yourself. You're waking your wife up at 4 a.m. to drive you 3 miles and then go back home. Oh, we made fun of him so much that he went nuts on us at some point. He went nuts on Jimmy. But I was just like, fuck that. So a problem I've always had is me telling people, don't worry about it. You're fine. Here we go. And them going, I'm injured. I can't, the doctor said, the doctor said. The fucking doctor said. Well, first off, what did the doctor say about COVID? Mm-hmm. Doctor's not right a lot of the time. Secondly, doctors are always like max protection for lawsuits and lawyers and liability. Yes. So if a doctor says, if you need 2 days bed rest, your doctor just goes, take a week in bed. Because they don't care what you're missing, and they're just covering their ass, right? So.
Are you grievously injured right now?
I'm fine. I'm always fine. But I have a friend. I won't say his name.
Very well.
He has a wife. I like her too.
Don't say her name.
No. She had arthroscopic knee surgery.
Yes.
Now remember, I've had this surgery twice, and it's you're good to go next day, pretty much.
I'm clocking in at 5.
You're at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're good.
I'm fine.
You can drive a car the next day.
You see me hopping around? Yeah. I walked into the house after double ACL surgery.
Right. That's my point. All right. So this guy is a huge Costner Horizon movie fan. Says he watched the first one like 5 times. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, good news. I go, Costner has invited me up to Santa Barbara to watch the second installment of Horizon. And he's like, oh, my God, because that's not playing anywhere. He's just showing it. It's going to come to Santa Barbara, hang out with Costner and watch. He's like, oh, I got to get in on that. I said, I'll get you in on that. So coming up this weekend, I'm going up there. And so I call him today. And I go, coming to Santa Barbara, hanging with Costner. He's like, can't. Wife had the arthroscopic surgery. I go, well, when did she have it? Says, Monday. I said, well, the thing's not till the weekend. Yeah, she can't drive. I said, what? It's automatic, right? Yeah. I said, she can't drive, huh? No. And he goes, it's her left leg. I go, on an automatic? Yeah. You don't. No, I was in Florida. I was in Florida 2 days ago. I saw something I don't see often in California. Dude driving with the left foot out the window. The bare fucking foot out the window because you don't need it if you're driving an automatic. It's just right gas, right brake.
I was just airing out my foot, bud.
Yeah. So I said she can't drive the automatic.
And this guy can't drive?
With her good leg?
They're not coming together?
Well, no, because the doctor's like, hey, 2 weeks off. And women listen to doctors because they don't know that it's all about liability. It's all about insurance. It's all about attorneys. And so they go, take the max. Like I've said many times, I've argued with women about this in the past. They'll go like, no eating any liquids or solids after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Right? I go, okay, what time's the surgery? 8 a.m. the next morning. All right. Okay, fine. Next time there's a procedure. No liquids or solids after 10 p.m. I go, what time's the surgery? 1 p.m. I go, well, that's not 8 in the morning. See what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
You said he says not after 10. Arbitrary. Yeah, not after 10 for 8 a.m. and not after 10 for 1 p.m. procedure. Mm-hmm. According to my math, I can eat shit until 3:30 in the morning. No, it says not after 10. And I don't realize it's one big lawyer and one big blanket statement and you stay off that leg for 2 weeks. No driving a car. And it's like, yeah, but they don't realize is you got a husband who can't go anywhere or do anything now because he's got to drive you around the whole
he's
time.
Like taking care of his old lady. That's his why he's not showing up to once in a lifetime.
Yeah, she is stuck and couldn't go anywhere, would be trapped in the house. Yes, she can't drive herself.
But this is the day of Uber Eats. This is the day of Postmates. This is the day she can be waited on hand and foot by somebody else. No problem.
Well, speaking of foot, phone. You don't use your left foot.
I know.
You just use your right foot. So what? But see, here's what I'm saying. Doctors do this fucking bullshit where they go, just stay off it for a month, and every woman I know goes, that's what the doctor said. And I go, they're just fucking rounding up on everything. You're fucking fine. Look it up, Byron. You know what I told her? I told her Steve McQueen entered the 12 Hours of Sebring race in like 1969 and came in second with a fucking cast on his foot. And then that car is a clutch. You got to use your left foot.
Yeah.
You can look it up. The point is, listen, doctor, stop being such pussies. We just got destroyed with COVID with all your fucking proclamations. And or women, stop listening to these guys. Every woman I've ever been with, I just go, listen, you're fine. You don't need to do that. I can handle that. The doctor said, the doctor is going to do the maximum safety protection.
Covering his ass.
He's going to cover his ass. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the longest period of time. This is a picture of Steve McQueen at the 12 Hours of Sebring from 1968 with a full cast on his left foot. That's his clutch foot. Drove a 12-hour race. Archie Manning played an entire season with a forearm cast on. It can be done.
Yeah. I mean, it's like silly to me. Like,
to
for
you.
Mixed martial arts background.
Oh, my God.
If I didn't go injured, then that means I didn't train properly.
You never went in. Yeah,
exactly.
All right. We have something I wanted to play, which I thought was funny.
All right.
Which is... the DNC has a rule about binary, and there's regulations. And, here's what it is. the woke have now been bitten by their own snake. They've created so many rules and regulations that they can't keep up with them. And it kind of reminds me when that pussy Justin Trudeau was up there. There's a funny clip of him going, and I want you to know that I honor the LGBTQ the LGBT. He's so fucking woke. But he forgot once he got to the 11th letter. He forgot because there's so many fucking letters on there of idiots we have to honor.
I don't know.
And this guy gets up at the DNC. I don't know. Do we have? I don't know if we have a signal on the top of our monitor here, but so can we play it on the bottom monitor?
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy gets up at the DNC, and he's explaining.
No.
He's explaining that they only picked two genders, but they didn't pick a non-gender, and according to the non-gender, okay, you guys first off tell me if this makes sense to you, or you even understand what your marching orders are. By the way, there's theirs and Zim and their and her and Z and she and his and Z and they and them and Zim.
I'm confused.
And they. By the way, these are words that some fuckstick made up 10 minutes ago to confuse you, old man. These words don't mean anything and they don't exist. So never memorize them because they made them up. But anyway, all right, he'll give the speech. It's funny. But we'll do it with the sound for a change, I think. No, I don't have the sound. Well, Dawson's not here today.
Tech issues, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's no sound?
The non-binary.
Well, normally when we play stuff, it doesn't have sound, but that's because of us.
Male nor female remaining, we must elect one. Rules specify when we have a gender, non-binary candidate or officer. The non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the 6 officers must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male and female and 1 person of any gender.
All right, so pause there for a second. So right now there's 2 male and 2 female, but they're not gender balanced.
How is that not balanced?
I don't know how much more balanced it can get.
The problem is, the woke thing is going like everybody has to be individualized. And since some people don't fit perfectly into male or female, now they've like split hairs to the point where it's Zim with the X, XA. Like,
right.
I
Now,
know.
if you could hear this guy, and we'll figure our sound out, I think. If you could hear this guy, he would make no sense at all because I don't know what he's missing.
Nice.
All right. So we can't get sound out of this guy because it's a technical thing or because there's some button that's not flipped that we don't know
You gotta
about.
flip that switch. You got it, bud.
I'm figuring it out. It's a work in progress. I'm doing my best here.
Oh, water spilled on the cord. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, we'll continue this guy playing. So again, this is the vice chair race.
Yeah,
we have to elect 1 female and 1 person of any gender to ensure our process accounts for non-binary
Male, female,
candidate.
and
We
non-binary.
conferred with our LB, and now he's talking too fast. They had to confer with their LBBT
rules specify.
I knew we'd get it back.
We got it.
Well, maybe not.
Nah, you had it, bud. And then rewind this thing. This is very interesting.
I find it fascinating because he's confused himself, is basically what it is. And like I said, Dawson's not here today, so we're having some technical difficulties. Well, get on with your story, and then we'll see if we can play this now.
I think we got it.
Here we go.
Meets the gender balance requirements in our rules. To do this, our process will be slightly different than the one outlined to you earlier this week. But I hope you will see that in practice it is simple and transparent. The order of balloting is designed to ensure equal access to the ballot, regardless of gender identity. As we must elect a candidate of any gender as well as 1 male and 1 female vice chair, we will first ask members to elect a candidate of any gender on the first ballot. Any candidate, male, female, and non-binary, can be elected on that ballot. After a candidate is elected on the first ballot, we'll have one officer of the three, so then we will know which position is filled of the one male, one female, and one vice chair of any gender. Our second ballot would also be for a candidate of any gender. Then our third ballot will be the third position that is remaining based on the two results. Either a male candidate if a candidate that is not male has not been elected, or a female candidate if a female has not been elected.
What?
I have no fucking idea what he's saying. Let me just explain something. 10 minutes ago, you had Joe Biden, who doesn't give a shit about black people and or women. The guy's never even met his biological granddaughter, for fuck's sake. You think he cares about women? He doesn't give a shit about black people or women. He decided that he needed a black female vice president. You then took someone who's incompetent and put her into that position. And then when the old man that you lied about ended up having dementia, he fell off, and then you guys were stuck with an incompetent black woman, and you couldn't get rid of her because you can't get rid of a woman of color and replace him with a heterosexual white male. So then she ran for president. Nobody fucking liked her, and she lost the election. So keep going, retards. Yeah, keep fucking hobbling yourself, you
stand in the
fucking
corner
idiots.
and paint and paint and paint.
Ugh. All right, what do you got?
Man, I'm gonna just keep you hot right now. President Trump says he plans to investigate California's high-speed rail project. President Donald Trump is putting California high-speed rail project in his crosshairs, promising a full investigation into what he calls a colossal waste of taxpayer money. I have a feeling you have feelings about this.
Well, let's just try to put it in the realm of a home. You know what I mean? And you go, okay, we need to maintain and repair and what have you with this home, you know? And maybe you'd like to sell the home and you want to fix it up. You want to put a little money into it, then you want to sell it, you know? So you go, our budget is $25,000. You know, what can we do with this $25,000? And someone goes, well, you could take the kitchen and you could reskin the cabinets. You couldn't buy a whole new cabinet set and whole new kitchen, but you could do countertops and refurbish, you know, the cabinets. And you go, okay. And then you go, you know, for $4,000, you could put some sod down and do the front lawn, some landscape, and get some curb appeal going. And then you probably get the place painted, the fascia and whatnot, for another $6,000 or something. And then someone went, no, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to buy a $30,000 toilet and put it in the basement, you know, and you go, I don't think that's going to help with what we want. We need to get the HVAC system working right. You know, this person needs to come in and see that the hot and the cold water's working good, and that the air conditioning's working well, and that the front lawn has some curb appeal. And they go, I want my golden toilet. And you go, but no one even goes to that bathroom in the basement. And by the way, who cares if the toilet's golden? You know, we'll just get a standard toilet for $120. We'll put that down there. I want a golden toilet. And so what I'm saying is with that analogy, we don't need a train from Bakersfield to Merced, but we do need an aqueduct, and we do need a way to collect and capture rainwater, and we do need fire hydrants that are ready to go when a fire breaks out, and we do need enough staff so that. All right, I don't know what's going on in that next room, but don't bring water. Don't bring water in there. The point is we do need enough firefighters for the next one, and maybe a couple of those airplanes that drop the fire retardant material, or a helicopter, we wouldn't have to lease them from Canada. We could own those ourselves. How about we spend the money on shit we might use, or we'll just build a school.
You're making
somewhere.
Too much sense, Ace.
Right. Yeah. Now, but instead we have a train that no one will ever get on.
Well, hold your horses. Gavin Newsom has defended the project, saying that progress is being made. Rail officials are focused on completing the Merced to Bakersfield route with a target operational date between 2030 and 2033. So
Never
strap
gonna-
on your boots.
never gonna
Get
work.
ready. Start packing your bags now.
By the
Because
way-
2030, you're going to be able to go from Merced right to Bakersfield.
Okay. That's their target date.
I know.
Their target budget is over by $80 billion. Their target doesn't mean shit to me. They ain't William Tell. They're William Tell alive. That's a
Let me tell you,
sniff.
you want to be mad. I fought in Japan for a long time. I saw them start a freeway exit, like a freeway run, like a ramp. I saw them, and within the week, the asphalt was down. I saw them start it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a waste of space. There's a guy standing there with a sign, do not go in here, all day, just standing still in a nice uniform. And I was like, wow, what a waste of time. And then by the end of the week, they had that on-ramp completed.
Yeah, so their target date doesn't mean jack squat to anybody, and it doesn't matter what their target date is. No one's going from Bakersfield to Merced or Merced to Bakersfield. It's insane. Trump is right. These fuckers do nothing but waste money, and the fact that they fight so hard for the money that they waste is insane. They waste our money.
Yeah,
Yes.
Trump's quote is, that train that's being built between Los Angeles and San Francisco is the worst managed project I think I've ever seen.
Of course, it's California. We don't manage anything correctly.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to change things, but yeah.
I'll tell
I
you
guess
how we're going to
making-
change things.
All right.
Trump and or the crew, Elon Musk and his minions and Pete Hegseth and all these guys, they're going to come in, they're going to fucking kick ass, and then even the dumbest people are going to go, kind of want that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like right now, we don't like the coach because he's mean, and we don't like the coach because he's not a player's coach, and we don't like the coach because he yells at the players and stuff like that. We'll win a couple of Super Bowls, and then people like that coach. That's how it's going to be. We'll get something done, and then they'll go for it.
All right. Well, in that same vein, here we go. He's wrecking stuff already. White House preparing executive order to abolish the education department.
Yes.
Yeah.
They act like we need the education. It should be state and local. And when we made it to 1979 without a Department of Education, I made it to my first year in high school. I went all the way through grade school and junior high with no Department of Education. Everything is fine. We don't need it.
You mean the state of California educated you?
That's right. We did not need the federal government involved. And they always do. They do the same fucking thing over and over again. Doom and gloom. Trump said, we're going to move the embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to I don't know where, or from here to there. And where is it? Jerusalem. It's like from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, right? Or Jerusalem to Tel Aviv. Whatever. That's what I said. Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Why you give me the fucking head shake? Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Yes. All right. Shut up. Just nod then when I'm right. Don't redo your... Andrew, don't redo your hand thing if I'm right. Just go, Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And then you go with your hand, you go, here to here. Well, that, Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Yes? Thumb up?
Working out the kinks.
Yes, Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Correct. Thumbs up. Okay. So, they said the Middle East was going to catch on fire if he did that. And then he did it, and nothing happened. And nothing ever happens because they say everything's going to catch on fire. Get rid of this fucking system. Get school choice, and let's get some kids educated. We were number one in education before they took over, and now we're, I don't know, in the teens or the 20s or something. So they do nothing except for fucking funnel money to their crony school teachers' unions, which, by the way, we just got butt fucked during COVID because of the teachers' union. So fucking cry me a river. Get rid of all of it.
The proposed executive order would initiate a two-step process, first directing the department to develop a plan to wind down its operations, and second, identifying the legislative actions required to transfer its functions to other agencies or return them to the states. However, it is important to note that the complete abolition of the department cannot be achieved solely through executive action. Congressional approval is necessary to fully dissolve a federal agency.
Right. And all
That's
the people that
interesting.
fight all this stuff are not fighting for the kids, or they're not fighting for whomever. They're fighting
Pensions.
so that people who fucking barely work can keep getting paid and then vote for them. Well, fuck that. It's our tax money.
Yeah, like I took a teacher for a roll in the hay back in the day, and she was
Really?
super into getting her tenure. It was like this weird thing, and she was pretty young.
Were you a student?
No, not.
Okay, well, you never
sorry.
know.
Well, yeah. I mean, these days.
No, look, there are people that don't want to work, and they're essentially communist light. They've dropped out of the competitive
That's the
free
sense I
market
got from
system,
her, yeah.
and they just want guaranteed.
And I was like, but you're like 28.
That's
She's
all
like,
they want.
You know?
They want the government to take care of them, so fuck them. Listen, okay, remember when Elon, and you can look this up, but Elon showed up at Twitter, right?
With the sink.
With this thing.
Let that sink in.
Elon showed up at Twitter. All right. I don't know what's wrong with our.
I don't know what's going on.
things
It's
today.
fucking wild today. Everything's falling apart. It's like Groundhog Day. What's going on?
Remember we were talking yesterday, and I said these things had to be done before the show because they only had they expired at a certain point. Did we have that conversation? Well, did we do that? No.
We're having some growing pains at the show
Okay.
over here. We got it, Ace.
All right.
We're gonna get it. Tomorrow's another day.
Well, we got you and
We
we
got
got me
Drew
and
in
Dr.
there?
Drew up on this one. All right, doesn't matter. The point is this. Elon went to Twitter, right? Elon fired 75% of the staff.
Yeah.
Is Twitter gone?
No. I know. Yeah.
So he just went in and he just cleaned house, and then that was that.
There's a big hubbub, and everybody
So-
complained. Yeah.
Elon can do the same thing for our federal government. Just come in, clean house, and that'll be that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's
right.
see what happens with that. We'll keep updated with that. Quickly, the George Mason University students win lawsuit after criticizing proposal to add tampons to men's restroom. Yeah, the George Mason University students have won a major free speech battle after a judge ruled in their favor in a lawsuit sparked by their criticism of a campus proposal to install tampons in men's restrooms. Yeah, the controversy began when two students voiced their opposition through social media and private student forums. The strange thing that happened was the university responded by issuing no contact orders against the two students, barring them from interacting with other students without explanation or warning. So they just suddenly got them like a do not contact order, signed by a judge to not talk to other students. The students argued that the orders were used to silence their viewpoints, prompting the lawsuit. The settlement awarded $15,000 in damages to the students and covered their attorney's fees.
Yeah, good. Well, look, we're going to have to sue everybody because they got nuts and they went over their skis and they started pressing people and stripping away their rights, and now we have to go in and fucking clean house.
Yeah.
Which is weird and sad. And I think people look at it and they look at it as that way with what Trump's trying to do with the FBI. And they're like, oh, this is un-American. It's like, no, what they did is un-American, and now we have to clean it up. You stripping away people's rights and canceling people and pulling people off the internet or shadow banning people because they disagree with your narrative about COVID or the transgender. That's the un-American part. Now we got to go back and fix it. It could have been avoided, but you guys had to go and do all this shit. They didn't have to do it. They could have just stood by free speech.
Free speech is speech that you don't like and you have to listen to. So
Yeah,
it's weird that it's going both ways.
Yeah, any speech, you don't get to decide. You know, because these assholes, they did the same thing. They go, I'm all for free speech, but you understand this disinformation they're talking about. Like, well, that's your version of what's disinformation? Because I got a different version of mis and disinformation. And in my world, I agree with this guy and don't agree with you. This notion that they get to be the proprietors of who decides what is mis and disinformation is scary, and especially when you guys are wrong about everything and land in the same place every time.
Isn't the proprietors the people who have the power? Like, if you have a platform, like, you know, I know Elon can squish out stuff he doesn't like. Mark Zuckerberg did the same thing when it was advantageous to him. To me, that's what it seems like. It seems like once you have the platform, you can squish out what you don't like, even if you're wrong about it.
Well, to me, here's the insidious part. We just went through a pandemic. The government decided on a narrative that they liked.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, and I disagreed with it, and so did Dr. Drew, and so did millions of others, but they had a narrative they liked, and they put pressures on all these platforms and internet platforms to tell the story they wanted to tell and squeeze out the other voices that were raising concerns about their voices. And that's the un-American part to me. And also, we just went through this. They lied and lied and lied. And they weren't making mistakes. They were lying. All the way through COVID, they fucking lied.
I'm trying to do is get you fired up about
I'm not going to listen to them about anything anymore. Now, that's up to, see, my relationship with them is no different than my relationship with an individual. If you're going to keep lying to me, then, pardon me, I'm not going to believe you the next time you have something to say. If you would not lie to me or say things like, I don't know. I'm open to it. We got to find out, but I'm not an expert at it, whatever. If you don't lie, then we'll have that kind of relationship. But right now we have a relationship where you guys lied the whole time. And now there's another group in power, and they want to go after the ones who lied, and then they go, that's un-American, which I find fascinating.
Hey, let's get off of that. Let's get into some fun stuff because, first of all, the U.S. Navy unveils a photo of a warship firing high-powered laser weapon. This is getting me hot and bothered. Look at that laser. Beautiful laser. The rave scene's got nothing on this laser. And the state-of-the-art laser developed by Lockheed Martin, so buy some stock, is designed to disable enemy drones, boats, and even incoming missiles by using concentrated energy to burn or destroy its targets. Unlike conventional weapons, Helios, that's an acronym, offers precision targeting with virtually unlimited use as long as power is available, making it a game changer for modern warfare. Man, that gets me all salty.
What do you think the range is?
It doesn't say in this. I guess they're keeping that
so
under wraps.
You're shooting it at incoming missiles, right?
Missiles, drones. I guess they're just torching things right out of the sky. Yeah.
It's the next, iteration.
Yeah.
Past the phalanx gun, which was crazy. But
when it's just a wall of lead at you? Yeah, that's a great one.
Well, it's a wall of probably depleted uranium, but
even better.
Let's not get so specific here. Yeah. But spent uranium, as they call it, a harder metal.
Doesn't uranium decay into lead at some point? Believe so.
This is a good question that I do not know. I know that lead is relatively soft and depleted uranium is like the hardest substance in the world. So if you're trying to shred something that has armor plating on it, you'd want to do it with depleted uranium versus lead, which is sort of mushy.
Yeah.
Uranium does decay into lead through a series of radioactive decay steps. So it doesn't do it on its own, but it has to. Anyway, so we're both right. Anyway, the laser's awesome. You just got to wonder what the range is and how long before some drunken sailor tries to light his cigarette off it. Because it's going to happen.
Oh, it's happening.
Someone's going to be standing below it. Your old man would hold his Tipperillo up, right, and try to get that thing sparked.
Yeah, Newport, yeah.
I mean, Newport. All right, Mayhem. Let's bring it on home. I want to tell everyone I'm going to be in Torrance at the end doing stand-up February 15th, and then off to Austin February 27th. San Luis Obispo, Monterey, and Napa. That's a run. February 28th, March 1st. March 2nd. You go to AdamandCarolla.com for all the live shows. I want to thank Sebastian Maniscalco and Omar Dorsey for coming in here. Bookie, very funny show. And, of course, Jonathan Shredneck, the Pickle Man. Check him out. The Pickle Dude's the name of the book. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Mayhem saying mahalo.